guys, today let's talk 10 annual flowers that you can sow in mid-July to carry you on through the season and enjoy more flowers in your cottage garden. Yeah, this really depends upon your growing season. Now, your growing season is not determined by your zone. It is just part of the area you live in. I live in the mountains of Northern California, and my last frost date is the end of May, and my first frost date's usually October 10th to 15th. Though the last couple of years we haven't had a hard frost until mid-November. So I have a little bit of time yet. From now, this is July 13th, till we typically get our first frost. You never know. Sometimes they could come early. I am a zone 8B. We do not have extremely hot summers, so that can maybe aid in germination. I don't know. But these are hot kind of flowers that don't mind the heat. So let's get rolling on our 10 annuals you can sow from seed right now to get more flowers. I did want to mention that last summer, I did a video on, let me see, what is it called? I got it pulled up right here. How you can sow perennials in July. And I'll take you out and I'll show you the one bed that I planted the white echinacea, the white swan in, and what it looks like right now. So whether you have empty places in the garden, some containers you want to fill inexpensively, or you just want another big bloom before the end of the season, this is a perfect way to do it. And it's not very expensive. You don't have to go to a garden center and fill up on very expensive plants. So let's start with the first one, which is zinnias. Zinnias, they start, especially this time of year, they start so much easier, germinate, because the soil's warm, the air temperatures are warm, and they are quick to come to flower. What's great is they attract butterflies and other pollinators, and they will carry you on through the season with lots of bright blooms that you can even cut from and have bouquets. The time to bloom is usually between 55 and 70 days. So you count from the time you plant them up until your first predicted frost date, and you will know whether this will work for you. Cosmos are another heat-loving one. The daisy-like flowers, I have several varieties. I just started some the other day, or I should say threw the seeds out. I have another packet I found that is like 3 years old. I'm going to throw those in the area as well because they may not germinate, they're old. So once established, especially the cosmos will take the summer heat well. I know August is often called, the dog days of August, because in many places it's very hot. And so cosmos is another winner for your garden. I'll take you out and I'll show you where I have sown some cosmos, and we'll keep an eye on them. Through the next few weeks, I will update you. Maybe they won't germinate, but maybe I will get a beautiful flush of flowers. And this is an area that right now is bare. So I'm not going to lose anything by trying. So cosmos, the time to bloom is between 60 and 75 days. So again, like the zinnias, you may very well have plenty of time. 3, Gomphrena or globe amaranth. This is another one that loves the heat of summer. It loves germinating in warm temperatures. It doesn't mind a little bit of drought once established. And what I mean by drought is if you have some dry times. If you have an irrigation system, you really don't have to worry about it. And even though in my area, many years we have water restrictions. If you have a drip system, they don't restrict you because usually it saves so much water. It's usually overhead sprinklers and other things like that that waste the water. Now my misting systems, that is more for not only spreading the water far and wide. So if you want to see my pulse watering video, go ahead and watch that, showing why that is a good thing. But also it creates a little bit of humidity in my area that's very arid and helps to fight against spider mites, so I don't have to spray. So time to bloom with Gomphrena is between 60 and 70 days from sowing. 4, Marigolds. Marigolds are one of the easiest annuals for anyone to start from seed. They germinate quickly and they come to bloom between 45 and 55 days. So an excellent one. There's lots of colors. The French marigolds are the only ones that help fight nematodes, not all marigolds. So just keep that in mind if that's a goal of yours. And for that to work, you have to plant a whole bunch and you don't pull them up. You would snip them off at the end of the year. The roots stay down there, and it's something with the roots that inhibits the nematodes. So just keep that in mind. I just sowed some red French marigolds. I'll have to look up the name in a container just a couple days ago, and we'll keep an eye on that and see how that works. In fact, I should probably take that same packet of seeds and take it out and spread some more in the garden, direct sow, and see how that works too. So yes, I was going to show you. This is the marigolds that I started just a couple days ago. Look at them. They're already popping up. I'm going to put them out in the garden, or I should say the container in the garden, so they can be used to the sun today. Number 5. Calendula. Yes, calendula, once established, usually likes the cooler time to bloom, but July is a perfect time to get them started, and you will get the beautiful flowers in the cool of fall. Now, many people use calendula in cosmetics, homemade cosmetics and stuff, and they also are just beautiful. Some areas, they are more perennial, like when I lived in the valley, they behaved as a perennial. So it depends on where you're at, but it is a good one if you want to fill in an area. And the bloom time is 45 to 60 days. 6, nasturtiums. Now nasturtiums are one of the fastest ones to grow from seed. Both the flowers and the leaves are edible, a little peppery, can be a little bitter if you get too much, but in moderation, they're tasty. They prefer average garden soil and, bloom time. Bloom is 45 to 60 days. So, yeah, nasturtiums. And there's a wide range of colors now. I've got creamy whites, and there's pink, and there's reds, and there's the typical yellows and oranges. And in some areas, they can reseed readily. And so a lot of people will get them the next year for free. Sweet alyssum. This is number 7. Sweet alyssum is fragrant. It attracts the pollinators. The bees are always all over it. And so many times it will reseed in your garden. The one that I have loved the most from seed is called Tiny Tim from Botanical Interests. And yeah, the sweet alyssum makes a great edging on borders, and the scent is just wonderful, an addition to your garden. I love adding scent as another level of beauty in my garden. And the time to bloom is 45 to 55 days. And I love its reseeding factor. This year, mine didn't reseed as readily as they have in years past. And I could only think that maybe we didn't get as much rain or snow this past winter. So maybe that was the ticket. I don't know. But it's interesting from year to year observing how things act. Some years, like with foxgloves, some years I'll get masses of foxgloves, just big, beautiful clumps. And then like this year it was sporadic, spread through the garden. So who knows? Trial and error. We find what works, how things change through the years, etc. It's just fun to observe. 8, California poppies. California poppies readily reseed in my garden, and sowing them this time of year will get you a beautiful bloom. And the time to bloom is 55 to 70 days. Also, if they didn't germinate for you, many times they will go through the winter and then come up in the spring. So no matter what, you win. Mine reseed themselves, and they come up all throughout the garden. I'm usually editing, meaning pulling some out. But yes, and the pollinators love, love, love them. There are different California poppies. It's just not the standard orange anymore. So do search. I think Annie's Annuals has particular varieties. There's a red one, a real pretty orangey red. There's pink ones. And yeah, so go ahead and do a search. Try Annie's Annuals, Botanical Interest. Swallowtail Garden seeds, and Select seeds. Those are my favorites to order from if I can't find them locally at a garden center. So yeah, give that a whirl and just know, yeah, there's more colors than just orange. So number 9, annual phlox. Many of you are probably familiar with the perennial phlox, but there's also annual ones. There's some beautiful ones like caramel cream, or I'll have to look up the names and put them across. They attract butterflies, they're a pollinator magnet, and they fill in beautifully between between perennials that may be fading for the season, and they just bring a pop of color, and they're beautifully scented. And the time to bloom is 50 to 65 days. So if you plant, let me see, if I planted them right now, mid-July, so we got 14 days left, and then 30, yeah, I could have them blooming by mid-September. And then if we got a late frost again, I'd have them all the way until November. So that's a beautiful time frame when a lot of other things are fading in the garden. They would be blooming beautifully in all these wonderful colors. Now 10 might be a little questionable for some people, and that's morning glories. Now there are states where morning glories are completely banned because they get out of control and become invasive. In my garden, they never have. Any seedlings that come up that I do not want, I recognize the seedlings. I just take a shovel and I skim it across the top of the soil, and they just skim right off. And the only ones that have really been ones that come back a lot or heavily was the first ones I started were Grandpa Ott. That one is notorious for being a heavy reseeder. But the other hybrids like tie-dye, flying saucers, heavenly blue, they don't reseed for me readily. I mean, the seeds will fall to the ground. I even want them to reseed, like the tie-dye, or the Milky Way is another one, and they've not. In Rose Alley, I had a bunch of the, was it flying saucers? I'll have to look it up, but they didn't come back at all, and I let them go to seed like crazy there. Nothing. So depending on where you are, morning glories are a beautiful addition. They vine, they can cover a lattice for you. I'm going to plant some. I'll take you along. I'm going to plant some out by my chicken pen where I have climbing squash climbing up the front of it to provide shade so the sun doesn't come through. I've got a piece of shade cloth there that's pretty ugly. I think the squash will be prettier and be productive, and then the morning glories with it will bring some beautiful blooms. Also, I have put them in containers with roses or on the arbors with the roses and other areas, and they are so pretty, and many of them I have are big blooms. I think the Milky Way is the one that really had the big impressive blooms last year. So morning glories, don't write them off unless they are banned as invasive in your area. And if you feel like you've had a problem with them, then just skip them. Try a different climbing vine. There's all kinds of climbing vines that you can grow from seed. Now this one I'm pushing it with because the bloom time is 70 to 100 days. So even if I don't get very many blooms, the vines are pretty. The big heart-shaped leaves are lovely. And next year, I'll get them started earlier. Now, we are going to take this little thing of seeds. These I soaked overnight. These are the morning glory seeds. And we're going to put them out in the garden. Let me see, I need... So let's go start and put them up by the chicken pen. So here is the chicken pen. Forgive my hose hanging out here. I was watering and I didn't have it reel back up. But down here at the base is a spot I can plant this. That is a mint I don't want there. But I'm just going to make a small indentation, and I'm going to put 2 of the seeds right next to each other in there and cover them up. And we'll check and see. I could put one in this echinacea pot. And it will come up. And I will have it climb up the chicken pen just to make it that much prettier. And then over here, I will put it in the container with this rose. I need to squirt down this hose. I can see some spider mite evidence. And my chicken is having a little bit of a fit. Okay, I'm just going to push them in the soil, cover it, push it, cover it, push it. I probably push it maybe 1/4 of an inch. And that soil's all nice and damp already. Let's talk about some tips for success with mid-July sowing of these annual seeds. Let's go down my list here. So yes, starting flowers during the heat of summer is slightly different approach than spring sowing. So number 1, sow seeds early in the morning or later in the evening when the temperatures are cooler. Keep the seed bed consistently moist until seedlings emerge. I'll display that for you. A light layer of compost helps conserve moisture without burying small seeds too deeply. During periods of extreme heat, temporary afternoon shade can improve germination for many sensitive varieties. I will show you how I provide shade. Once seedlings become established, apply mulch to help moderate soil temperature and reduce evaporation. One of the joys of gardening is understanding their second chances, and what I mean by that is mid-July, many people are not thinking about growing from seed. Now, I'm talking about with the annuals just now of putting them directly out in the garden. So you're not transplanting them from pots. And the reason for that is when you transplant from a pot into the ground rather than direct sowing, it slows it down a little bit. So right now you want it to come to bloom the fastest as possible, especially if you have a shorter growing season than I do. And test it out. You never know what you're going to get. I could totally not get any flowers because I might get an early freeze. But it's worth a shot, and I already have the seeds. So if you have a few empty spaces in your garden, grab some of these seeds. There's probably others that you could try or use. I can't think of them offhand. I'm talking annuals right now. If you want to see the perennials would work as far as direct sowing now too. You can watch that video to see which ones. And there's probably a long list. But anyways, so it's not too late to start seeds. Though many people, by this time, they're starting to get a little weary of the garden. And so they don't want to do it. It's too hot. They were going on vacation. That's all good. But if you want to start some seeds now, it isn't too late. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. And I will keep you updated through the rest of the summer season on these that I do sow. I'm not going to sow every one of these. And we'll see how it works this year. All right. See you next time.